I'm starting to form an opinion about French businesses, and I need somebody to check me here, reality check me to see if I'm just like off the reservation. I've had the experience of personally experiencing French culture for almost 40 years, and that's been a wonderful experience, well documented in my channel, and also having lived in France for a year. But I am now getting the opportunity, which is cool, to work with French companies for the first time. And I've worked with several French companies. I've also worked with a German company. So I'm starting to get a sense of like, at least those two countries, some norms and challenges and differences in the way that they do business. So let me tell the story. I'm working with a client as a fractional CMO in Germany. They're working with a French potential client. And one of the things I'm noticing, and this one's for the ladies, I want to know is this a pattern with like French men in like personal dating? Because I'm wondering if there's a metaphor occurring here, an analogy that's carrying over. And the question is, do they talk a lot, talk a lot, but don't actually ever get to the part where, the thing's happening. The thing doesn't have to be what you think it is, by the way. It could just be whatever. Is there just a lot of dancing around and very flowery, sort of wonderful, oh, everything's wonderful and blah, 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 blah. But when it actually comes down to the meat and substances, maybe not so much there. Because that's what I'm seeing happen in several cases. Okay, again, I'm not going to paint with a broad brush stroke here, but I am going to say I've seen this now a couple times where French companies, they're just like everything's awesome and we're talking and everything's very, very professional and very inviting, and we talk and it's all like wine and roses, and it just kind of goes on and on. Let me give you an example. I met with a company where this went on for hours and hours and hours, and there was a lot of purported interest in sort of things, but then there was a nothing burger in the end. Like just went from complete, like absolute just love bombing to nothing. I'm just watching that happen with a client of mine too, who's trying to deal with a French company where they are very willing to get on multiple hour-long calls. I have been on, no exaggeration, 5 hours of calls in the last few weeks with this French company. I'm actually in there trying to help my client navigate this because culturally, I think I understand French culture a little better than he does. I know I do. But even with my understanding of it, I'm just like, what is going on here? So anyway, there's one company I've dealt with in France who was much the opposite. They're awesome. They're on it. They make things happen. No BS. They don't take forever. Things don't die in committee. But guess what? He's also one of the most Americanized French guys I've ever met, and especially in business. The guy, he's killing it. Because listen, I'm going to call a spade where it is, whether it's negative or positive about US or France, because I have some opinion on both of them, obviously. And I will just say that Americans are much better at business, like scaling businesses, getting shit done. You cannot touch an American business in that way. We kick ass and take names. We also move pretty fast. And for some people that may feel abrupt or awkward, I get that. I'm not saying that vibe is also always the best, but we do get shit done. And part of the frustration in working with companies that are not US based is they just vibe differently. And so I'm having to adjust for that. I'm trying to coach some of my clients about that as well. But anyway, does any of that resonate with any of you out there? Or am I just dealing with isolated circumstances that I won't see again? Really curious.